that is it. We should be ready to start right now. Alright then, welcome everyone. My name is Red and I'm casting Legacy of the Huns, qualification round number 4. And it's a match between Chart and Spring. Just gonna type in chat off as well. And then we must not expect any more chances to be disturbed here. And now we have the chance to watch this game properly. Spring vs Chart. Yeah, that's some high elo game there. Huns War on Arabia. So we can expect a lot of action. That is for sure. Both are extremely skilled players. And let's just start by describing Spring's map here. As we can see, he's on the right hand side. Blue color. And of course I don't have to mention that he has the Huns and Huns War. Well, he is certainly struggling there with the sheep, I guess. I mean, not really. I mean, he's good enough to compensate the fact that... actually, I'm just a bit confused here. He directly goes for the deer, so that's actually all on purpose, so he's not struggling at all. Well done, actually. He just uses the sheep in order to scout. I thought he just found his initial 2 there, not the 4. But that is actually the opposite case. Actually, well done here. I'll explain the effects of this move in a couple of seconds. But looking at his map here, he has all the resources in the front. That is obviously not a good thing. And yeah, if you see here, the stone in the front, both stones in the front. Also, first gold here, terrible position in my opinion on this hill. Also the wood line. Let me see. I mean, he kind of did that on purpose, right? He goes to the front first. I guess he has some plans with that. He could have also chosen this wood line here in the back. Maybe he wants to stay here, maybe work his architecture over here in order to utilize and also secure this gold over here. That could be one possibility to do that. And furthermore, we also got this gold over there. Also not the best position, quite exposed there. But in my opinion, this could be used quite well here by some clever walling. Yeah, I guess just one wall here, palisades, and yeah, this will be the tricky part. Probably dragging a palisade from here till here could be a possibility to make it a bit more secured. So the enemy would be forced to go next to this TC when trying to approach this area here. But all in all, really quite much of a bad map here. Spring is certainly forced to play offensively here. He must not allow Chart to abuse this situation over there, that all of his resources are in the front. Yeah, Spring needs to do anything to keep Chart busy with defending his own base. Speaking of which, let's look at Chart's base here real quick, and we can see that his base also not one of the best. A lot of hills here on the sides, also in the back. In the back is no problem. On the sides can be a problem. Luckily in the front there is no hill. That's something. But yeah, the fact that those goals are just on a hill, really not the best thing to go for. I mean, you know, just the fact that Spring could actually position towers here, or his maybe even forward buildings, or just some archers, would be terrible. Fighting this one off, defending this one will be quite awkward here for Chart. If he messes this one up, he as well kind of forced to play it more offensively, as I see little possibilities here to wall this one off. The left hand side though is kind of wallable. Will take some time for his villagers to go here, but all in all, not many palisades needed in order to wall this one off. I can see him being able to wall this one off, actually, thinking of it. Palisades from here to there, also here, and dragging one palisade line until here would be fine, and this whole area would be okay for now, at least till Castle Age. Yeah, I see more possibilities of defending this one a bit more. Furthermore, we see some sheep being stolen. Spring saying, oh my god. Well, that's unfortunate. Pumukul also there. Hi there. What's up, man? And let's see how Chart is actually dealing with this one. He could be even a bad guy now and killing the sheep. You know, in this situation where... Oh, okay, he decides... I mean, of course, the scout is there, therefore he's not gonna waste his own scout by taking the time to kill those sheep. He just engages into this fight, has the upper hand there. Now the game a bit slow there. Wonder why. I'm too slow. So there's that. Both have clicked up, but not with equal villager numbers. Spring actually with 20 pop there. Looking at his eco, we see double stables. We see double lumber camps, no gold being gathered, so this must be a stable. There we go. Makes sense, of course. With Huns, you can actually go for anything, but they're especially notorious for their scouts, obviously because their stables work 20% faster, which means that they get a really fast scout rush up, especially with 20 pop. That is something to consider. Or was it 21 pop? Now I'm a bit confused there for a second. Did I need so much time to talk to explain this, and now he went to 21 vills? Well, we'll find out. So Spring actually faster, way faster here. At the same time though, Chart busy walling his base up in the manner that I've just mentioned here. He'll also place some buildings there, and then this is going to be safe for now. Also, instead of just striking this passage till there, he just decided, no, I'll just have my forward buildings here. Not forward buildings, but I just positioned the barracks and the stable right there and connected to this palisade. So I just make use out of my general architecture here. And knowing that Spring was way faster, he just held on a little bit and positioned his scouts on a place where he's on a hill and where he's also going to expect Spring to strike at, because this area obviously will be tough to be attacked, as there are palisades now. So that's the situation right now. We can expect those scouts to engage any second. Spring does not have good chances here, because first of all there are 5 scouts now, and also there's an upland advantage, and Spring should not engage there. Also, without any spearmen, this is going to be tough anyway. Instead, I guess Spring's plan was to go there as early as possible with 3 scouts instead of waiting for the 4th scout or 5th scout. He just parked them in the stable there, and by that he just wanted to ensure that he could actually strike Chart in a way that he's not prepared. But Chart was prepared. He even had his own spearmen there back in his base, and now he has better numbers, but the spearmen, the defensive spearmen that Spring has and that he did not bring to the front, they're there as well now, ensuring that Chart is actually not able to go into the base of Spring, which is not walled at all, just this area here. And as I've called it, he positioned those number camps there for a reason, just to make sure that he stays there, puts the buildings there as well, and make sure that this goal is safe. So we got this little getting to know each other phase here at the moment. Both players are dancing with their scouts and their spearmen. Micro-intensive fights here, for sure, because every strike is important here. The spearmen must be protected. They must not engage alone. They must not be surrounded by scouts. At the same time, the scouts must not be touched by the spearmen in a way, especially on a hill, would be devastating for them to get critical hits there, so to speak. Tokuraka saying, I've never heard of Chart. Well, you can look it up on Voobly. And he's a really decent player. At the moment, he has an elo of, I believe, 2.3k. Certainly someone to have an eye on. Alright, so this one actually good for Spring. He managed well actually, by first trying to engage. As I've told you with the 3 scouts, that was not successful as there were more scouts of Chart. And then he cleverly just went back a little bit, pulled those spearmen to the front, which then forced Chart to retreat from chasing there. And now we got this little scout fight, spearman fight there. Also, Spring with ambitions to place some towers. He decided not to go for this one. Chart actually realizing that this is going to be a tough situation. Interesting choice here with the tower. I'm not 100% convinced, but the more I think of it, the more sense it makes. This is rather a safe tower here. He could go on and put another tower there as well if Chart doesn't do anything against that. So Chart basically being under a lot of pressure there. At the same time though, trying to inflict some damage on Spring's economy. But Spring, as we've seen it, and I didn't mention it, he has double archery ranges now, which is a sign for archers obviously. unless Chart goes for some kind of skirmishes in the meantime. He doesn't at the moment, therefore those archer ranges mostly will be used for archers unless he loses control over this gold over there, which is not taking place at the moment. So Spring actually managing well, defending his own base and also applying some pressure here. He's not able to enter the base due to those palisades and cleverly placed arch ranges. Still, the tower is up, and that means that the gold income of Chart is kind of prevented for the moment, as he is forced to get rid of this tower first. Now that he is on the way back... Oh, that was actually interesting here. That Spring was able to squeeze in there. Yeah, so that's that. So Chart basically in a position where he's forced to get rid of this tower ASAP. And if he does not do anything against that, he will lose the control over this gold very soon. At the same time, Blacksmith also incoming. What about Spring's Blacksmith? He also has one, but his archers, they do not have fletching. At the same time, Chart on his way to Castle Age, so we can expect Chart to come out of this turtle-like position soon, as he will have military advantage, at least considering their strength, not in numbers yet, when reaching the age. Alright, so that's that. Chart also going for fletching. Skirmishes being produced now as an answer to those archers probably approaching. Not too convinced at the moment. How does he actually know about that one? Did he get any? Yeah, of course, it makes sense. Maybe he even suspects Spring of going for calf archers, but at the moment we don't see a third archer range being put down. I take it back, there we got it. So while he has a lot of archers there, he could now decide going for X-bows and then fourth archer range there. Okay, this is some really aggressive play. I believe Spring will just stay there with 1 TC for a long time, as he will spend all of his resources to maintain a 4 archery range production. Really tough stuff there. At the same time, Spring using his remaining feudal army there in order to deal with the situation here that Chart actually under a lot of pressure. He has a skirmisher army there. Like I said, I'm not 100% convinced that this army will be able to deal with this here. He needs to make sure that those scouts won't enter, then it'll be fine. Also, the skirmishers will be effective against those archers, obviously. And elite skirmishers will be even more useful. But if Chart actually allows those scouts to attack these skirms, it will be devastating as well for him. So let's see what the next decisions are. Obviously, Spring going for crossbow now that he has so many crossbowmen there. Botkin arrow, also padded archer armor. Alright, and instead of going for archers, Chart goes for calf archers, which makes sense as Huns, obviously. I'm really interested how Spring will manage to deal with his own archers, with his own crossbowmen. Also the reason why he went for that. I mean, he started with the archers, also in feudal age, so he has those numbers at the moment, but he needs to be successful with that one. Both players not going for a second or third TC, so we can expect some more aggressive play in the upcoming minutes. His calf archers, Botkin arrow as well, also paired archery armor. He just needs to be super careful about this one. Also some knights there, some kind of clever meat shield, as it is a really strong meat shield. So far without any upgrades, but able to go in there, absorb some damage there, and also kill some villagers if needed. Alright. Alright, this is actually a good fight so far for Chart, I believe. If he manages correctly. He is losing all of his units there, which is kind of surprising. I'm wondering if he... What is he even attacking there? I mean, he does some damage there, but not enough, not enough. Spring actually doing well here. I believe that he would take way more losses than that, because Chart actually being on the hill there, it wasn't enough. That's now really difficult for Chart now. Talking about some options. As I said, I wasn't convinced here with those skirmishes alone. I would have loved to see some siege workshop, right? I mean, especially in that situation, a mangonel would be gold. Won't be happening though. And if those will just get killed here, all of them, it will be really tough for Chart to come back. Spring does well, but just focusing on the villagers. This trade is fully justified. If he even loses his whole army, it is justified there. He is even able to get rid of this army here. I don't like the positioning here, neither. Also, the fact that the villagers were here for a long time, even though he could have anticipated that Spring's army was actually moving to this place. Also, this area is not safe. There's actually no possibility to get out of the situation without mangonels. And now, no expos being produced, just cav archers, which is good for Spring, obviously. Way more mobile, and with 4 archer ranges, he's not able to maintain complete production there. But he is going for a second TC now, while Chart won't be able to do that anymore, and it's GG. There we go. Alright, so I'm just gonna update the score and then we'll go into the next game before I forget about that one. So Spring won that one. Therefore, just updating it real quick. Oh yeah, someone, Daniel in the game room asking best of 3 or best of 5. It's best of 3, obviously. Alright. Okay, so first round for Spring. This is best of 3. Charge still has chances. Oh yeah, let me just switch the scene here real quick. There we go. And let's go back and wait. Alright, so the next game is starting. We're just gonna wait for the spec delay countdown, 1:30. Alright, so thinking about the last game that we've just seen, summing it up, I think Chart actually had a lot of chances to actually win the first fights there, as Spring was not successful with his attempt to go really fast scouts. His 3 scouts weren't successful as they were pushed back. It took him a bit more of time in order to reach Chart. The distance between the two played a role for sure. Also, Chart had a nice positioning of his resources in the back that he used, first of all, talking about the wood. Therefore, it took him a bit longer than expected to reach the enemy. And therefore Chart was prepared. But at the same time, when Chart was chasing Spring back into his base, he was easily scared off by 2 spearmen, and instead of just avoiding the spearmen and trying to get some more information about Spring's base, he just directly went back, which allowed Spring not to be punished for his early decisions there, and and allowed him to continue applying more pressure. Therefore, Chart not being able to get out of the situation anytime soon, he turtled himself in, actually quite well. He had his palisades up, his base were way more easier wallable than the one of Spring, which is why Spring didn't wall his base at all. But he couldn't make use of this momentum that he had as he reached Castle Age. Therefore, quite unfortunate. I would have loved to see Mangonel, to be honest. Which is not the sole reason why he lost, but definitely played a role there. There was some one or two key moments where he could have just hit the expose there. Legacy of the Huns with Ethiopian overlay. Oh well, it's just a screenshot that I just use for a couple of tournaments that I'm casting. Once I got more time, once I'm actually done with Legacy of the Huns, I'll also take some screenshots of the games that I'm casting and then I'll just update that one. I'm a fresh streamer, man. So, please have some mercy on me, man. Alright. So, therefore, I'm just starting with the second round here. So, welcome everyone. This is actually Demise Red. It's not Legacy of the Huns, but this is Demise Red casting Legacy of the Huns on Woobly Official. It's the qualification round number 4. Qualification round number 4 is the last qualification round. Then the final stage will start. And it's a game between Spring and Chart. And Spring actually leading 1-2-0. And that is it. And let us start just by describing Spring's map once again as he is player 1, blue colored. Okay, so let's see about this one. Once again, not the very best map. It is somehow wallable. The front is a bit more of a tough thing here. The pawns can always be a pain. But other than that, I see quite easy walling possible. If you just put some of his military buildings here, it will be no problem, especially about the front. But the positions of the resources, once again, not the best. He has some stone here in the back, which I can see him wall off in a way that it's secured by placing palisades here and there. At the same time, this gold is really far away. The first gold is in an awkward position. Also in the front, will be tough to wall this one off in a way that it's safe, especially if the enemy comes with attack from the distance, as in towers or archers or something like that. And other than that, it's gonna get a bit of a tough situation here for Spring. So basically, again, he's forced to go for some aggressive gameplay. I mean, as Huns always expected, of course, but in this case, he must not once again allow Chart to get into his base. So he must be the one applying pressure. I see no other solution because the gold is just awkwardly positioned. Maybe if he's lucky and if Chart scouts it really bad, he won't be able to spot this one, but I wouldn't count on it. Therefore, I'll just stay with what I've said. Then on the other side of the map, on the top here, north, right, we got Chart, and his base also wallable. Front, once again, a bit more exposed here. The distance between the two wood patches is not ideal, but using some cliffs maybe, it's gonna be quite of a compact base to wall off the left hand side. Maybe is gonna be a bit more problematic. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of space, so basically not the best thing if you go for walling. Oh, whoa, unfortunate stuff taking place here. I believe. Oh, for real? For real? You lost the second villager? You did? Oh no. Well, that's not a good start. Oh my god. Oh my god. Unfortunate stuff, man. I just gotta mute the chat. Not because I'm kinda annoyed, not at all. I guess the chat and me, we feel the same way. So Felix saying, I'm new to the stream. Are you the official Woobly host? Are you working for Woobly? I am working for Woobly or with Woobly. Both, I guess. As I'm a streamer here and I'm an official streamer of Woobly. But I am not the host. I mean, I'm not the owner or something like that. But yeah, I'm quite new. I've started a couple of weeks ago working with Woobly. Therefore, yeah, I can consider myself as new. Also, the sheep here decaying. Not the most efficient play of Chart. I feel as if he's kind of nervous at the moment. Those two villagers were really demotivating for sure. I would have been so mad at the moment. Glad to be here, by the way. Enjoying the relaxing, though informative commentary. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Josh was saying, I think that one just gave me a heart attack. Well, I'm certainly not amazed either. So, just going back to the commentary here. I like what Spring does. At least he is thinking about how to secure this area. I guess the tower here by Chart would definitely be a lot of damage. So this gold will be denied. At the same time though, not sure if this is going to take place as Chart already behind in economy, as he lost 2 villagers. That really unfortunate stuff. Especially the second one was just awful. I liked what Spring did there a couple of minutes ago with the boar. He used his sheep not to block it efficiently. That worked better. So Chart did not do that as we've seen it, and that didn't work out then. Unfortunate stuff, but it happens to all of us, right? I mean, yeah. Sad stuff, sad stuff. So both of them obviously going for scouts again. Chart was in field age later, as he had to go for at least for one more villager to compensate the loss there economically. Not fully compensate obviously, but in a way that he won't be too far behind. He is behind an villager count, but not that much. We see just 1 villager difference. It could have been worse. Alright, so that's that for the moment, and we can see Spring now in the front here, or approaching to the front with his scouts. He has 4 scouts at the moment, 5th one not incoming though. Instead he goes for the same approach just as last time, basically just the difference is that he has 1 more scout there, but he parks his spearmen here back in his base, 2 spearmen. So basically that is one way to say, hey, I'm going with my scouts. At the same time, since I anticipate my enemy of going for scouts as well, I'm just making sure that if I lose this one somehow, if I mess it up, I have security at home. But Chart, as I suspected him of actually going for defensive gameplay, he will actually go to the front. Nevertheless, even though he lost his villagers there, he goes for an aggressive gameplay himself, goes to the front now. He is prepared. He will be able to defend scouts if he is getting annoyed by them. Question now is, how will he manage to do that? What is there to get, you know? If he just goes this way, it's gonna be quite devastating, as there are spearmen. If he manages that well and uses his own spearmen, he can go for some spearmen war. And then if he is fast enough, he can just hit for the wood line first of all. Will be way more difficult to go for the berries now. Intelligent walling here, I always like that. Really efficient. And if Spring messes this one up, he could even lose a villager or 2 on his gold. But let's see about this one. At the same time, just quickly looking, yeah, Spring is forced to go back. Good stuff. Alright, 1 villager down. Be careful about your spearmen. Don't lose them. Okay, bad fight there. Free poking for Spring, which means that his scouts are significantly more damaged, more hurt. There we go. And we got full HP, nearly full HP scouts from Spring, which actually looks good for Spring now, but at the same time, Chart was more successful, right? Because Spring couldn't do anything. He was too slow, basically. Chart way too fast with his walling. Spring didn't cause too much damage. I mean, not any kind of damage. Maybe 1 villager idle time, because that 1 villager was forced to build palisades faster or something like that. But not that significantly. Instead, Spring actually lost 1 villager himself. Also 1 spearman. Therefore, good stuff at the moment for Chart. He has this little momentum now. Also, the number of scouts has been increased. Just needs to be careful not to lose here. Oh, that's again really unfortunate. Look at how much HP the scout lost there. But again, he goes for the same spot. And also he attempts to go for 2 spots at the same time, which is always a great thing when raiding. Normally this causes the player to be a bit more likely to make mistakes when defending, as there are problems on 2 sides. But for players like Spring or Chart himself, this shouldn't be much of trouble. And at the same time, Spring was able to defend that one easily, as he had his palisades up. Therefore, the second attack was not as successful, because now he's even losing his scouts here if he messes this one up, and he will eventually lose them. He is being chased in his in Spring's own base, and there's no way out here. Yeah, those are scouts wasted. At the same time, some stuff is also taking place in front of Chart's base. Just gonna see if we can fast forward. We cannot. This is great news for me. This means that I've actually managed to get rid of my performance issues here. We'll see about that a bit later though, because I'm also gonna cast Nomad Battlegrounds with more players involved, therefore more performance being used. Let's see about that though. So Spring clicked up on his way to Castle Age, Chart as well, and Spring is going for fletching. Let us see. 3 archer ranges. He is creating a bit of skirmishes, a couple of archers there, but I believe that he will not attack with a huge archery army just like last time. Instead, he will try to go for calf archers ASAP. I think 3 archer ranges, that's a good hint that this is going to take place. But let's see how he will decide for that one. Alright, so paired archery armor incoming by Chart as well. Botgunner by Spring. Elite skirmishes by Spring. Interesting. Why does he do so? Probably he does that because he sees those archer ranges. But he himself again going for skirmishes. I just hope that this time he will consider a siege workshop. So far his base is fine. I wonder if he will go for a second TC anytime soon. With just 2 archer ranges, it should be possible. To a certain degree, with 3 archer ranges, that's more likely not to be possible. University incoming, so ballistics will be there ASAP. Crossbows incoming. And then it is a question when he will stop producing crossbow and instead go for calf archers, because I believe that he will go for that still. So we got a little skirm war going on here. Scouts definitely helpful for that one, as they're countering them quite well, but not elite skirmishes like that, as you can see. With skirmishes alone it would have been easier. But he is able to keep him busy here, abusing the problematic attribute of minimum range. Well done, and we see it here, second TC already there. I like this one because position is, first of all, is good. It's a safe position, as we can see here now. Spring is not able to enter. That is good. Also, there are possibilities for third TC. I mean, I'm not sure if he would go for that one. Probably it would make more sense to put somewhere in the front if he plays more of an aggressive gameplay there. You could see this one happening probably here somewhere. Here. Probably here. Well, let's see about that one. At the same time now, calf archers and knights being produced. The calf archers obviously with techs, botgun arrow and petted archery armor. Chart now getting bloodlines. Also an indication that he's going for cavalry stuff. In this case, calf archers himself. Maybe he will even put in some of his own knights. I'm not sure though, but let us see about that one. So far it doesn't look too gloomy for Chart. He is maintaining his economy there. He is even having a little lead there with his villager count. He is not able to maintain constant villager production with this economy though. He had a couple of farms, but now he has given up on several of them. Probably to build this TC ASAP. At the same time, we can see he can just afford producing villagers. I mean, technically he could go for 2 TCs, but he doesn't. I wonder why. Maybe he has some plans, maybe he's just saving for some other tech. Probably he is. We'll see about that in a couple of seconds. Oh, I actually missed that one here. So, we got some skirmisher fight over here. Now it's gonna get a bit more tense. This army will most likely not survive. Chart will try to go get some cav archers, maybe himself. He won't. Instead, he will just bait the knights. Let's see how this one will end. I feel like the skirmishes of spring are getting way too many hits here. A lot of cav archers dead. But at the same time, more cav archers on the way. I like this military numbers here. 13 at the moment, and spring obviously at 20 because he goes for this 1 TC setup. 3 archer ranges still. But now he is actually changing and shifting to a more economical approach. Sorry. Also getting bloodlines himself now. Also leather archery armor. That means that he will continue producing cav archers, which will be really strong very soon. So that is actually a bit curious in my opinion. Actually, this fight I would have guessed that Chart was more successful, but I guess he allowed those elite skirmishes to be way too deadly there, because his own cav archers, I'm talking about Chart, had bloodlines, and the ones of Spring didn't. So unfortunate, really unfortunate. He is trying to raid here, but this won't be successful. Just needs to get out of the situation ASAP. This doesn't look good at all here at the moment. And once again, I was going to say where are the mangonels, but now finally there are some mangonels. And you see, little army like that caused so much trouble here, probably sniping off 1 or 2 villages too much here. Mangonel made sure that those guys just go out of the space once again. And now Spring with the momentum here that he has dealt with the army of Chart, and he is on his way now to the base of Chart, and he will most likely cause a lot of trouble there unless Chart does well. The moment it doesn't look like that, I'm sad again about the mangonel. I could have just used that one a bit better from the positioning. I understand why it was here, just to make sure that no enemy will approach here while the villager is busy building that palisade. At the same time though, it was good for Spring. This fight was a bit of in his favor. More archery ranges being put down now. Villager count, unfortunately, Chart being behind. I'm just saying unfortunately because he went for the 3 TC setup first, but he didn't manage to use this one properly. He is still behind there. And now it's gonna be tough for him because Spring has this momentum. As long as he doesn't mess up this army, if it survives here, it's gonna be there all the time. I like what Chart does at the moment, which is just going out of the situation and trying to go for some raiding himself probably. Unless Spring goes to the front again, but he doesn't. He goes back instead, allowing Chart to breathe a bit. And we're going to see if this is going to be a good decision or not. So about those 2 TCs. I understand why he went to the right side, as it's a bit closer resource-wise to the skulls. At the same time, he could have also went to the left-hand side. Nah, I understand. Right-hand side makes more sense in this case. But at the same time, this hill, he just needs to make sure that this hill is safe all the time. Otherwise, if he messes this one up, I could see a decent cav archery army of Chart sniping off some villagers if Spring doesn't pay attention. This is probably the intention of Chart at the moment. At the same time though, Spring approaching himself. Military numbers slightly in favor for Spring. Let us see what's gonna happen here. They're all going for the Mangonel. I just hope that... Oh yeah, you see. A lot of hits there, a lot of kills. Well done, I like this fight so far. Mangonel is down, but still there are a lot of skirmishes. And Spring does this huge mistake by just staying here. That was a really bad fight for Spring. At the same time, the thing that I've just mentioned here just happened. Danger of this hill. We just see it. You see those skeletons over here? Probably 1, 2, 3, 4 villages at least died here with this action. And Chart would do well getting out of the situation ASAP. He could of course engage because he has the upper advantage, but at the moment his cav archers are way too precious. It wouldn't make too much sense to lose him against just elite skirmishes there. But Spring at the same time does well by positioning his second squad in a way that Chart was ambushed there for a second, but oh my god, look at this beautiful army. Wow, Chart, really good stuff. I like this one. So there are a lot of thinking ahead situations, right? As you've just seen it. Spring actually did well by positioning his army there, his second one, so that this army would be hurt way more. As you can see, the HP is really low. At the same time though, Chart somehow anticipating this move, positioning his skirms over here, actually making it a mess for Spring at the same time. But now I'm just again a bit disappointed. This fight again was not good. This was not that well anticipated by Chart. Not that much of a loss. Those are just elite skirmishes. No precious gold units. At the same time though, now Spring has the opportunity to strike back again, I believe. At the same time though, wow, look at this mess. Chart, man. Okay, he lost the skirmishes there maybe, but at the same time he was able to deny another wood line here. And Spring needs to be careful not to overchop here, or at least deal with the situation beforehand and placing some more palisades. At the same time, some major clash taking place here in the middle, I feel. If this Mangonel is successful, this would be awesome. 2 hits. Wonderful, wonderful. More. Yes. Good stuff, good stuff. I always like it when Mangonels are used efficiently here. Even though they get destroyed here, they were able to land some couple of good hits there. Especially the first one with low HP was able to launch one more attack. That's always a good thing. And like I've anticipated, Chart placed his third TC over here. I said here or here would make sense. This one certainly makes sense, as the army of Spring is not able to move easily to the right hand side now if he goes to the front, as he will find out in a couple of seconds, I believe. Come on, man. Nice. Still, this TC is under a lot of pressure now because of the Mangonel. He needs to find a solution for that ASAP, otherwise this Mangonel will be able to take down this TC. At the same time, Chart with his own Mangonels. Good stuff indeed. I like this fight so far. This match is really good. No major disappointments, you know. I believe if Chart would have gone for Mangonels in the first game, it would have been different as well. Alright then. Interesting enough, Spring goes for Light Cav. That is a sign that he either goes for Meat Shield or goes for some raiding. In this case, I would see him going for a decent number of light calves, and maybe just squeezing in through here, maybe. And if not, just engaging in a fight like that. And probably he won't do this. He won't go just for the raiding. He will go for the meat shield and also direct counter against those elite skirmishes. I believe that he's just saving up his whole army in a way, if Chart of course doesn't cross his plans, to get rid in a very important fight, to get rid of those elite skirmishes and then squeeze in his own cav archers. At the same time, this plan is actually not taking place, as Chart has taken control over this hill for now. That caused so much of damage here. One Mangonel down, a couple of cav archers. Bad stuff. Scale barding armor now incoming in favor for his light calves that will be coming soon. But now I'm not so convinced about this move. I like what he does though on the sides here, placing more TCs just to secure more resources. Just wondering if he knows about the gold in his back there. Yeah, he does. Oh yeah, he already has his plans for that. I like this one though, this kind of... I don't even know what to call it, preventing, you know, double prevention there. Not only is he securing the source for himself, no, he also secures the fact that Chard has no more extra resources. But this was too naive maybe, as I believe this TC will be up in time. Yeah, because of the villager amount there. Also now Skirm's incoming. He shouldn't go for the TC, he should go for the villagers instead. Well done. Oh my god, this is denied. But no, okay. Now, the light cars are incoming. As I've said, mainly used against the skirmishers now. At the same time, Chart, which I fully ignored, reached in. Also important factor there. He goes for Bracer and Chemistry, which makes his Cav Archers way stronger, way stronger now. Once he got that one, he will just kill everything really efficiently. Even skirms on uphill will have no chance anymore. Yeah, now we see the first castle being put down here by Spring this time. Interesting position there. I'm not super convinced to do it like that. I would have loved to see him actually just dealing with this TC somehow, and then placing his castle somewhere here where his recent TC is. But that is what he goes for. At the same time, he's really secured on the right hand side, nothing is happening there. So the pressure is slightly on from Spring on the left hand side. And another castle being put down. Okay, so we have the max type of approach here. Placing one safe castle and going for the second more aggressive castle there. I like it. It would be complete the max kind of style if you just put the third castle over there. But I guess this won't be happening. If it happens, then this would be just funny. At the same time though, as I've talked about... Oh my god, look at this mess. As I've talked about scouts being good for raiding, and also meat shields, and also anti-skirmisher type of unit, there was a little overchopment. And Spring spotted that one really well, which allowed him to go inside and kill some villagers there. Villager count is 126, 125 for Chart and 133 for Spring. Not that much of a difference. Both have a solid, really solid economy. At the same time though, Spring does not consider clicking up yet. His resources are certainly being used for all kinds of stuff, but not for Imp. The question now is this the right thing to go for? I can answer that question by first of all mention that he is indeed placing the third castle. Oh my god, man. Talking about the max, man. Look at this first, second and third castle in a row there. I mean, it's effective, you know, but that's a lot of stone also being used just for this very position there. Yeah, to answer that question about the Imperial Age, I think this fight kind of answers it. If Spring continues messing this one up hard, it will be really tough for him. He must not, you know, give away his little advantage, military advantage that he had. Now he has lost a lot of units there, and he will most likely use his lose his castle now. Those are things that you need to take care of when the enemy reaches Imperial Age, right? You have this momentum when the enemy is going for Imp. You say, okay, he is probably down in economy a little bit, and I gotta compensate that or even make it worse for him by going for more units. At the same time, maybe even, you know, just punishing him for going to Imp. But at the same time, when he reaches Imp and finally gets out his traps, that's when you lose that momentum, when you cannot cause that much of damage anymore, because how will you be able to get away those trebuchets without any problems here? Do you see any siege workshops with 10 or more cat rams being produced? No, there's nothing like that. So Spring is going to stay in Castle Age. I don't think that he will ever go up to Imp. In this match at least. Now the question is, will he be able to cause damage? This castle, good idea. At the same time though, this castle by Chart. So again, not very successful here with this attempt. You know, both trying to secure their area here for this gold. Spring aware of the situation that this is going to be tough here for his own base. He can be lucky that this is not spotted. At the same time though, this is unfortunate stuff for Spring. I do not think that this is going to be too successful. Unless he really doesn't mess it up. He is going for Imp now. That's impressive. I didn't think that. Okay, now things are different again. If he wins this fight, then it's looking better. But as I said, he must not mess it up. He must not lose any unnecessary units there. Unnecessary fights especially. Go in for efficient fights. Win those, and then you got chances. Chart also going for pikemen now. So we can expect some halberdier. I don't think that, even though there's so many castles, I don't think that Tarkans are going to be produced, even though it could be done, especially if Chart is going for pikemen. I could see Tarkans as a way to deal with that. It sounds odd, right? Tarkans against halberdier, but I've seen a lot of matches in Huns where Tarkans were actually superior. And I believe there was one match. I mean, I've heard from a really good source there that if the numbers of pikemen or helps are not equivalent or even superior to the one of the cavalries, it's gonna be tough for the one with the halberdiers. Because with the halberdiers, of course, you have an advantage unit-wise, counter-wise. But one thing many people forget is cavalry is faster, unless you're dealing with, I don't know, Celts, halberdiers or something like that. So I think going for Tarkans is also a way to deal with it here at the moment, from the point of view of Spring. At the same time though, Chart going also for heavy cav archers, so let's see, I'm really amazed by the fact that both are surviving at the moment, and Chart somehow having the lead here. 137 villagers instead of 109 of Spring. There's significance at the moment. I believe that this is enough for Chart to have a bit more of the text, which is not the same for Spring, because Chart went for pikemen as well. We can see it, the barracks are being put down. I don't think that he is in a resource-wise not in a disadvantage or something like this, because his economy works better at the moment. Even though he has idols, right? 17 idols there. Spring going for cavalry. I am not sure. Is this the right thing to do? Could be. Like I said, there are only 4 barracks, 5 barracks. It's not the end of the world if a couple of pikemen come out of there. Unless your army of cavaliers is just too little, right? So I do not know yet. I just know that the light cav of Chart is doing work here for sure, denying a lot of external resources here. If he actually does well, he can take control over this gold himself. At the same time, all the other resources on the map seem to be used. Just this one now being free again, as this castle has been denied. And let's see. Military count now really impressive by Spring. 93 military. That's a whole lot of cav archers if you ask me. But they're only cav archers against heavy cav archers. But the numbers now are too significant. Also, Cavaliers extremely tanky now. They can absorb a lot of damage there. So I feel that Chart is maybe even forced to go for... I'm not even sure. Monks will not do it anymore. I mean, they will get important conversions. But if the numbers of Cavaliers are too high, it could be bad for him. Unless he has a really huge army of cav archers somewhere. This little army here is enough to snipe the bit here and there, but at the same time he is being pushed back. As we can see, he does not want to lose this one. Instead, he puts some meat shield in the front, which is consisting of his light cavalries. Well, well. Spring certainly making good moves here. Also going for marauders and guilds. Guilds especially important in a 1v1 then. If you wanna, if you see that the market is not being abused, you can go for guilds and abuse it yourself, which gets you more gold. Chainmail armor by chart, meaning that the halberdiers will be even more tanky. And now we see a Tarkans, elite Tarkans in Blast Furnace. Now something is happening that I've also mentioned for Spring's options here. If he goes for Tarkans, I believe this game is going to be over quite soon, unless Chart comes up with a master plan here. But I think it's going to be really tough for Chart now at the moment. He is losing most of his military, as well as Spring as well, of course, who is only having Cav archers. So far this battle here is kind of neutral, considering its outcome. Spring obviously having an advantage here because of the numbers, but it didn't change too much at the moment. Interesting stuff indeed here. And yeah, it's also impressive that actually those 3 castles that were put here are all gone. That's a lot of resources down the drain, right? Also this 4th castle. Spring only having 1 castle left there, which is over here. What about the wood though? What about the wood? A little bit of that's. Let me see. Where is this? Where are his lumber camps? Oh, he has a little bit of wood there, which is not too much. Not at all. $15 lumberjacks. What about Chart? 41. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, interesting stuff now. All this is cool stuff here. Elite Tarkans now. Spring having his own momentum again. Once again, nice momentum. Tarkans are in your base. What do you do against them? Look, they're engaging in this fight. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. They're just engaging. Tarkans are dying, but at the same time also the halberdiers are dying. And I believe, yeah, that was it. Now I'm back to what I was going to say. Spring actually playing against, I believe it was Yala Habibi, and they played, what was it? Regicide Fortress. There we go. And that was actually some cool stuff because he was able to, you know, just those elite Tarkans, he had so many of them. He just went through those armies of halberdiers. So good stuff indeed. Spring is certainly aware of his momentum here with his elite Tarkans. Really like it at the moment. Good stuff indeed. So let's see. This right hand side is actually being cleared up, but at the same time the heavy Cav archers doing their work as well. This is something that did not happen in the game that I was referring to. Heavy Cav archers did not play a huge role there, and we can see heavy Cav archers are actually able to deal with Tarkans for now, as they're as fast as them, and they deal damage from the distance. So also an important factor. Also the Tarkans are not as tanky as Cavaliers or something. I believe going for Cavaliers at the moment would have been even better. I'm not even sure because the halberdiers are there and stuff like that. But the fact that Spring actually went for elite Tarkans as well as Cavaliers was quite eco-draining there, resource draining, and he had the weaker economy in the first place. So that was maybe even a mistake one can argue for. He should have decided to go for one of them, not for both. And now the Hussars are doing their work. Felix asking for the resources, that's insane, right? Chart. Let's see about Spring. Not that much. I mean, no wonder about the wood, because that is his wood. Still, I guess. Let me see. Lumberjack 16. Yeah. And we had 40 or something for chart. So yeah. I wonder if he will do something with the wood. I mean, what he can do, and that's what we see. He can go for buildings, military buildings. There's always something newer players seem to underestimate. They go for, let's say, 2 stables, and that's it for the rest of the game. But if you have enough wood, you can of course sell a bit on the market or use them for farms. But if you just have spare wood, maybe just put down some more buildings, some military buildings. You're gonna use them for sure. Siege workshops especially. I seem to forget that one as well. So yeah, now I think Chart is taking the clear upper hand here at the moment for a longer time, for a couple of minutes. Yeah man, we have it. Siege Rams also approaching. I think it is looking quite gloomy now, because Spring actually having used, what was it, guilds, that was important for his gold. He could pump out some Tarkans, but at the same time, what will he do against this one now? Does he even have his own? Yeah, GG. We got the GG. I was going to say, man. Wow. Wow. Rams with helps inside. Well, yesterday, when I've casted Nomad Battlegrounds, Viper had champions with Rams, Rams with champions inside. That was also an odd thing to do, like cars that were as fast as cars. Wow. Good stuff. So actually Chart being able to win this one. I'm really happy. Not because I'm cheering for Chart or something, but this means that we will have a third game. A third and final game, ladies and gentlemen. That's good stuff. So let's go for it. I'll just change the score real quick. So Chart actually won that one. And I'm gonna just change it real quick there. There we go. And changing the scene. Now we're waiting for the next game to start. There we go. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Wow. So actually, thinking about key moments in the game, I really think Spring actually did well by not going to Imp first. That's always a tough one. But if you go for the right decision, you can even punish the enemy for going to Imp. So there was no major mistake when thinking that Spring was in cast stage for quite some time. At the same time though, Chart also not being able to punish Spring that much. I mean, there was some kind of punishment taking place because in Imp he had access to traps, and that cost Spring all of his 4 castles. That is for sure. That is one major punishment. But it wasn't like a total punishment as in Chart just steamrolls over Spring's base directly. The steamrolling just took place in the end. And that was when it was obvious, and probably the second most important key moment, I guess, that Spring actually went for various stuff, various techs. At the same time though, Chart did the same stuff, but he had the better economy. And therefore I feel going for elite Tarkans, they had a momentum for 1 minute, and then they were able to deal with the halberdiers, right? But at the same time now the elite cavalry archers, they came and then just completely killed off everything there. So maybe that is also a thing to consider, that his economy was not good enough to maintain numerous techs there, right? Alright. So without further ado, let's just continue with the final and last game. There we go. Hey Eric, what's up? What's up? Indeed, man. I was going to tell you after the stream because I've just tried it out. Yes, yes, it does. It does, indeed, it does. Thanks so much, Eric. Thanks so much. Good guy. We still have some minor issues, but it just balances it out in the first minutes of the game, just because of some things that I'm not paying attention to. Now it should be fine. Just catching up. There we go. It's fine now. It's all good now. It will be even better once the game just, you know, finally kicks in process-wise, and then it's all good. There we go. Looks way more fluent now. Alright, so without further ado, let's start with this one. So welcome everyone. This is Legacy of the Huns qualification round 4, which is the last qualification round before the final stage. My name is Demise Red, and I'm presenting you the game between Chart and Spring. The score so far is 1-1. Therefore, this is the last game of the best of 3. So this time, just for the sake of doing something different, let's start with player 3, Chart. Alright? Thanks, Eric. I really appreciate it, man. Good to have you here. Cool stuff. Alright, so Chart on the left hand side here, top hand left side of the map. Let's look at this base here for a second. Well, the front is kind of easily walled off. I mean, the potential is there. The sides are super exposed. Looking at this side, I could see this is gonna be painful walling off. This is too much. Honestly, too much. Let's just see that Chart doesn't mess it up here with the 4 again. By the way, guys, we need to keep in mind Chart won the game, right? This game, the last game, in which he lost 2 villagers in the beginning, right? No res allowed, right? Restarts within 4 minutes. Good question. To be honest, as I recall correctly, it is allowed. It is allowed. Restarts are allowed, especially if there's something bugged going on. I guess admin res are allowed. But that could be just me mixing it up as I'm doing a lot of tournaments at the same time. But I believe that res... Actually, good question. Nah, I guess player res are not allowed, but admin res obviously are allowed. Guess that is it. Guess that is... I mean, it could also change because it's qualification round number 4. Maybe they have special rules for that. I've actually looked into that, but I didn't find too many information there. That was actually due to my poor research skills, I guess. But yeah, I guess normal player restart is not available. Alright then, so let's look into this base a bit more. So while the walling on the right hand side seems to be painful, on the left hand side it's even worse. Look at this here. Oh my god, look at this. The left hand side is completely open. Tell me, how are you going to wall this one off? And this? How? Tell me. This one is actually really convenient. While the bad thing about this is the wood line is in the front, therefore towers, a sweet tower over here, or maybe even it's possible to place a tower here in between those this tree here and the stone. Maybe working from here. Yeah, I guess from here could be working. Would be also really hard to attack that one with villagers, if at all. So this is a huge disadvantage there. And yeah, therefore the resources also not the best. He has some gold in the back though. Super exposed at the same time. This is really unfortunate for him. I mean, while I see a little bit of for the right hand side, the left hand side is super exposed, and that's the side where he has his gold, even the 3rd gold in the front. Really not good here. Chart must play really aggressively. Looking at Spring though, his map is slightly better. He can wall off the right hand side. He could even go for this kind of approach where he walls this one off and then this one off, which is a lot of space though. So I think he will just go for this one and then this one. The front also able to wall, I guess. He will wall from here till there. And the left hand side, maybe the most painful one because of this hill at the same time, whereas resources are surrounding. Yeah, you just need to make sure that at least one source is safe. You could wall this one off by dragging a wall like this, maybe. And then like connecting the barracks with the mill, maybe. If he connects the barracks with this wood patch over there, then this one's gonna be a tough one on the left hand side considering the walling. But let us see, maybe he will just play super aggressive himself. He has clicked up to feudal and he is in feudal now and placing a stable again, so we will see a scrush again. No wonder. No wonder at all. And looking at Chart here, also placing his own stable, walled off that area with just 1 palisade. Good stuff. But now the question is, how is he going to deal with this one? So he places his buildings over there on the left hand side. He will close this one off. So he will do the a legit impossible task here and wall this one actually off. He has to. Now, while this seems to be possible, and now you think, okay, Demise Red, why are you saying all of this nonsense, fake news, man? He is actually walling this one off. This will take a lot of time. This will take a lot of time, and he actually used 2 villagers there. And now he's using 1 villager there, and this villager will be busy for a long time until he has finished this one here. At the same time also the right hand side. So basically now the economy of chart consisting of 2 villagers less. Right? And now we got the danger here. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. This is what I was talking about. Potential of danger, you know? Luckily for chart nothing happens. Really nothing happens. At the same time though, Spring, who has an easier base to wall, he just decided to go for this one here for now. So therefore all of his villagers are working themselves, considering the economy there. Alright, so this is it at the moment. I feel that it's a bit calmer than before. The game before was way more aggressive. Now we got this little dance, the scout dance, which is evolved into a fight. In game 1 I believe it was a dance as well. While this fight looked good for Chart, as he was able to get one of Spring's scouts. Let's see what the HP of his remaining scouts. Actually, there was this uphill downhill situation taking place in which Spring was uphill. Still unfortunate for him to have lost that 1 scout there, which forces him basically to go back for now. At the same time though, ladies and gentlemen, he is having a villager with his own bodyguard, Spearman, and placing a tower. The position I don't like too much. Really, I am not the biggest fan of it. Will it be even able to hit the villagers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I do not think so. Am I wrong? We will find out in a couple of seconds. This one would have been gold. Well, let's see. Let's see what's gonna take place. Just with 1 villager though, this means this is a indication that Spring is actually not exaggerating a lot. He is having 3 villagers on stone though. Let's see. And nothing much happening here. I mean, it was enough to hit this villager though. Okay. Oh, there. This villager, because it was there, right? Oh, not even. Okay. So slight denial here. Okay. The X-Pen says if it's 1 tile further, I think he can tower hop. Well, it could be, right? If you meant this one, right? It could possibly be. Not sure about this one, but I believe this was not Spring's intention anyway, as going in there with 1 villager would be suicidal anyway. Also, 1 Spearman wouldn't have changed anything there. I believe that Spring just wanted to apply some pressure, denying the wood patches in the front. Therefore, Chart now being forced to move back now. Some might even argue that he should have gone there in the first place. But this is it for now. At the same time, look at this. A lot of scouts here. Little scout war here on the hill. This time Chart lost 1 scout. Interesting stuff. So Spring actually doing well. At the same time Chart not doing well, denying this somehow, because I mean he doesn't know, does he, about the fact that there's only 1 villager? There's only 1 villager, man. Maybe he should just take care of that situation. But maybe it's not that much of a serious thing, which is the reason why he just goes back and just leaves it be. Chart has so much better map awareness, it seems. Well, while you can be right to a certain degree, Felix, the thing is, he could have then maybe done something against this 1 single villager. I mean, the walling by Spring was quite smart there. At the same time, though, we will see about how this one will pay off. If this was really important now for Spring, maybe this will be decisive, maybe not. Fact is, there's still 3 villagers there were 3 villagers on stone. Now there are going back probably. Are they? Yeah, they're going back. So this is more of a sign that he will just continue dropping some more towers. Actually, he wanted to do that, but now he's forced to stop with that idea as the archers here are doing their best to deny this one from taking place. This is not a tower rush per se, right? This is just a couple of towers being put down alongside Scrush here. And at the same time, Chart just buying himself a bit more of time. I like what he does here, a couple of spearmen, which forces Spring to go back. Both are clicking up now. And I see some good stuff taking place, for Chart at least. One Verger down, one Scout down. That is an okay type of fight, could have been better. Question now is what's gonna take place here in the upcoming minutes. So we see double arch range, third arch range, the classical Spring approach, which means that we can suspect him of staying just with one TC for a few minutes after he reaches castle age. Maybe then he will reconsider and go for more after he is done with producing a significant amount of military there. At the same time, looking at Chart, who has 3 archery ranges himself very soon. I mean, it is about to get denied here as the army of Spring is still there, camping in front of the archery range, making it impossible for Chart to build this archery range up. Now, I always love this move here, since it's possible to decide how the gate is gonna look like when you play with the mouse wheel there for a second. You can just change, you know, the direction of the gate there. You can actually wall efficiently from the distance, which is really good if you're being pressured by archers. So instead of just placing a wall here, you could actually stay with the villager over there without spending too many resources. So cast age there for both of them. Chart this time going for crossbowman. Spring, which is not a surprise, goes for crossbow himself. Both get the similar text here, botgun arrow, bow saw, all the good stuff that you need in order to maintain good crossbow production out of 3 archery ranges. So Chart also having 3 archery ranges is also a sign for him staying with 1 TC for now, as both are going for a big military number there. At least that's the attempt. And what I like is that Chart doesn't do the mistake in game number 1, and instead he goes for the siege workshop, and that is just awesome. Because if he baits, oh no, he won't be able to bait. If he would have been able to keep Spring there for 1 more minute, it would have been so good for him, as the Mangonel would have landed a good shot there. But instead, this stable is down. This stable is down, which means that the army of Spring, consisting of light scouts, elite skirms, and also expos, is inside of his map, and now Chart being forced to land good uphill fights here. Suddenly doesn't look too good for him anymore. He needs to make sure that this Mangonel hits at least once, otherwise it's a really bad trade. One shot. That was fine. That was not the best thing, but he was actually able to save this one. Wow. Okay, he sacrificed a couple of archers for that one. I am surprised. This is actually an excellent fight for Chart at the moment. Wow, this looked, for a second it looked really bad for Chart. But well done indeed. Good fight for him, for sure. This was really important. Look at this mess here. All those dead units. At the same time though, Chart able to maintain most of his villagers there alive. I believe that he maybe even didn't even lose one villager, maybe just one there. Not even sure. So that is it for now. But now that this Expo army is done, Spring now going for 3 TCs as expected, and now producing calf archers. Now it's a good idea of Chart to go for Mangonels here. Mangonels, excellent choice to mix into your unit composition in order to deal with calf archers. That's one thing. But he needs to make sure. Oh, this is really lucky. Oh, I'm lucky now. But he is quite lucky with his Mangonels that they don't get destroyed that fast. which is the only reason at the moment why Spring is just being cautious here, not entering the base for now. The army of Skirm's also there, being a reason for that. Also good is the usage of Mangonel against Watchtowers in combination with a Villager that always repairs the Mangonel. Good stuff. At the moment I'm really delighted here by the moves of Chart. Who goes for University and also Market? That is odd. Why does he do that? Does he want to buy some resources? Or sell some stuff? Let us keep an eye on that. So thinking of possibilities to enter Chart's base at the moment. Well, this spot has always been the location where Spring tried to enter. There are also other ways, I guess. He could even go for this one. Maybe, maybe not. Siege workshop on the top of his hill. I like this decision. Block the way and prevents the enemy from dropping his own buildings here with a useful building. Siege workshop, probably going for Mangonel himself. Let's see about this. Probably gonna take place here. And yeah, the Mangonels of Chart doing their job here. Looking at villager number though, is Spring is in the front there with 58 villagers. Chart being behind as he has this one TC set up for now. He places the second TC over there. The position always tempting for knights to go beneath and then just enter the base. Open TCs, so to speak. Some of you are familiar with that term, I'm pretty sure. Open TCs. That was one tournament, you know, where this one got really important. For one person at least. And yeah, that is it at the moment. Things are... It looks as if it's stagnating, but it's just... Both sides are taking the time to deal with their economy and also produce some military. Especially Chart going to the front with his military, while... Spring is going to the front and so Chart is the one staying inside. And this is what we have here. Look at this. Look at this. How did this happen, man? How did this happen? Really? Unfortunate stuff. This year being a nice way to enter the space. 2 knights. I believe he has no tax on the knights neither, so it wasn't too expensive, this trade-off. He was able to get rid of the Mangonels, which is an opportunity for him to enter with his own calf archers. Talking about Spring now. And other than that, Spring is focusing on this left-hand side. This one was actually a good idea. Let's see if he's going to do some more stuff that is not expected by Chart. So 2 TCs by Chart. Thinking about a third possible location. Unfortunately, this one is not possible. If he is good enough, and if he has good momentum where he can just go outside of his base, which means that he takes care of this army here, this could be one way to do it, but I believe that it's really too much in the front there. At the moment, Chart is taking heavy losses there. He's not paying attention too much here. He loses a lot of villagers. He is already behind due to his economy, consisting of 2 TCs in comparison to 3 TCs. He actually lost nearly all of those villagers there. 3, 6 villagers, at least 7 probably. Yeah, not good. It's 82 to 62 now. Spring having a huge lead there. His economy is going to be stronger. And at the same time, his army should be even bigger than the one of Chart in the upcoming time. Oh, 3 TCs actually there, okay. I do not like this position too much, but I can understand it. But if he goes for this position, he could have even placed it a bit more further to the front. Because the reason why he didn't just attach it to the gold there is because he just wants to make sure that this area is somehow a bit more safe. And a bit closer to the villagers here, that they could run away with this TC. Yeah, this TC is not that realistic because it would be so much on the front. You know, you see how much military traffic is taking place here. And yeah, that would be really, really bad if you would have placed that one there. Probably Spring should put his own 4th DC over there. That would be interesting. To make it even more impossible for Chart to spread out here. He has his 4th DC over there. Question now is, what are Chart's chances to get out of the situation? First of all, he needs to catch up in villager count, and therefore he needs to go for some own raiding. That is a good attempt here. Probably if he goes through here and lands some lucky strikes himself, would be quite nice, even though both players are really securing everything with TCs. How many TCs are this? 4, 5, 6 TCs so far. I mean, if you look at this very architecture here of this base, you might even think that this is an old school player playing with that many TCs. But it has its use, right? It has its use. And now Spring having 108 villagers, Chart only with 83. 25 villagers. That's a lot for now, especially in this crucial time in Castle Age where the boom should take place a lot, and I just hope that he is going to get some equalizing actions going by sniping off some villagers. Otherwise this game could be over very soon. He is being pushed really hard, he is losing his military buildings, he is forced to build his archer ranges in the back, therefore it doesn't look too good at the moment. He needs to be really good with his mangonels, really efficient to get some good trade-offs there. At the same time, there are enemy mangonels. Good one. The second one will be crucial. Wow, good stuff indeed. Now it looks completely different. He just needs to make sure not to lose him now. Good stuff. Good. I mean, I'm taking it back actually, because this is uphill still for Spring. So not as efficient as one would suspect. At the same time though, Chart is getting some good kills here. Wow, who would have thought? Spring actually making the wrong decision here, engaging in that fight. He has lost a lot. Villager count still, and the difference is still superb. Military count is really just level here. Castle now being put there. Good choice actually. If he manages to regain control over this one, another castle over here would make sense. And finally, combining both castles with another third castle here would be also a good thing. But now it's too late for that kind of idea, as Spring is clicking up. Imperial Edge is incoming, therefore Chart now being the one who is later. But he is going for the TC there. He will not be able to hold on for that long if Spring manages to keep his army alive there. Then probably some of those trebuchets will be produced. Probably they will be able to shoot the TC from a good distance. Probably uphill even. From here, kinda. Which would be really good. At the same time though, now Spring with good hits here with this Mangonel, it seems. Unless, excellent macro there. But Chart, he's getting rid of those Mangonels without taking heavy losses himself. At the same time though, Spring's army now with his own cavalry archers being able to snipe off some military from Chart. Military now in favor for Chart. And he is clicking up himself now. That is good for him, as he won't be going for this kind of philosophy saying, yeah, I'm gonna stay in Castle Age in order to punish my opponent for going to Imp. So this is not going to be the case. Instead, he will be in Castle Age just 2 minutes later, which means that Spring has a momentum of 2 minutes with the possibility to go for trebuchets. Instead, he goes for Tarkans directly. So this time it's going to be a bit different. Instead of going for knights, Spring goes for Tarkans, Chart going for pikemen. Again. Interesting. Elite Tarkan also incoming. Coinage was a misclick, I guess. Guilds is a good one. So Spring doesn't wanna play it risky. He just goes for guild directly in order to abuse the market ASAP. Let's look at his resources. It's fine so far. Let's see if he's actually gonna do some smart moves there in the market. I like this TC by Chart. I like this TC a lot. He goes to the very right hand side of the map here and places a TC that will remain unnoticed most likely. And once it gets noticed, wait a second, stone. Okay, a lot of gold is being yeah, gold transaction. There we go. Yeah, he sells a lot of stuff, and we got the GG. Oh my, I just spent the time looking at the markets here and also, you know, looking at this one. While we didn't see this one here. I guess the Tarkans actually were able to land some important hits there. Not even hits. I don't think that this fight itself was significant. It was more the fact that Chart saw, okay, the Tarkans are there this time and now it won't be possible to do anything anymore. And it's over. Chart lost. Spring has won. 2-1. Tarkans, man. Elite Tarkans. I guess Chart just anticipated, alright, elite Tarkans are there. I need heavy cavalry archers, a lot of them, in order to win. I've lost a couple of my units there, and I will not be the winner of this very fight. So I will have a hard time coming back from this, as my base is kinda open, at least to the left hand side. The right hand side is quite safe, but this one could also be really vulnerable. Wow. Didn't expect this one to end that fast, but it's actually over, guys. GG. Spring won. Wow. Certainly didn't expect this one. Alright, guys, so that is it for now. I will be back in 2.5 hours together with Willis, who will help me co-casting on Nomad Battlegrounds Silver League Final. I will do my preparations till then, and then we're going to see each other tonight. For now, I'll just call it the game now, and just for your information, for the people who are just who's still there, on Sunday, tomorrow, you can look further informations on AoE Zone concerning the time. On Sunday, we will have the Weekend Smackdown, which is a casual tournament organized by us. And you're actually able to participate if you want to. It's for free. You can win stuff. You can win Voobly Gold or Silver. Depends on how good you are. It's a one-day tournament. It's going to be 1v1 on Arabia. And you need to fulfill the requirement of being above 1600 and less than 1900. And then you can just join and try out your luck. It's a casual tournament, which is a way to get into this tournament atmosphere, to, you know, just get this feeling of how it is to be in a tournament for further experiences that you want to maybe get. So that is it from me. Pumuckle, thank you, man. No problem, man. Anytime, anytime. Glad to hear that. Yeah, man. And Felix, no problem, man. You're welcome. Y'all are welcome. So take care, everyone. And see you probably tonight. Like I said, 2.5 hours now. It's 21 GMT for Nomad Battlegrounds Silver League Final. Alright then, guys, take care and bye bye.